What is going on, everyone, and welcome to ToyShopFab. And on this video, I get gas. No, not that gas. That gas. From the factory fuel tank to our freshly rebuilt carburetor on corn cob. That's right. For those of you that haven't seen the video, I suggest you go back and watch that video. Definitely watch it till the end. But we rebuilt a Holley 750 carburetor to put on corn cob over there. And because, flip the seat forward, you see a fuel tank that looks like this. Not a whole lot of rust. This is the back side that you wouldn't see. Here's the front side that you would see behind the seat. It had a cover on it. Tank looked pretty good, so you wouldn't think the inside would be all that bad. I was wrong. Very, very wrong. As a matter of fact, let's see if I can show you guys what the inside of this tank looks like. So let's get you down inside there, and you can see, if it'll focus, yeah, and that's not the worst. You can see all those chunks in there, and it actually gets worse the farther towards the ends you go. And because we pulled the sending unit out and the screen was all plugged up, and then the pickup tube was all crystallized and clogged up as well, I cut the bottom of it off and just put this little hose on there for an extension. It keeps sucking up all those little chunks in there, plugging off the hose, starving our little fuel pump, and not getting fuel to our carburetor. So we're going to fix that. Now, I'm not keeping this fuel tank in that truck. This is just for educational purposes only. We're going to get this thing cleaned out. We're going to get it put back in the truck. Also, going to drill and rethread or tap the existing holes because both bolts broke undoing the straps. Believe it or not. I also went ahead and pulled the seat out of this thing. And you know what? We'll get to that here shortly. Kind of show you guys the little time capsule that was under that seat. A couple neat little receipts and kind of some cool stuff. So, but what I'm going to do first before we get over there is I'm going to put you guys up in here in the stand. And we're just going to do a quick little clean out of our fuel tank. And I'm going to do that very, very cheap and very, very easy. So, all right. So, you guys saw the rust in there. I wonder if you can even hear it. There is still a little bit of gas left in here from when we had it in the truck. And I'm going to leave that in there. And what I'm going to do, so I've got this little bucket here of a bunch of bulb nuts. Matter of fact, I'm going to use these because they got the nice little edges on them. You shake them around, bounce them around. These little guys here could probably they do fairly well knocking some debris and rust off the inside of this tank. I've seen people use marbles, BBs, pea gravel, all kinds of neat things. But if you have an Atwoods close to you or a hardware store, I think even Tractor Supply does it. They sell hardware by the pound. And it's like $3, $4 a pound. So, and when I'm done with these, I'm just going to rinse them off and put them back in my little bucket. But they should do pretty good for what I want to do right now. And that is just knock some of that rust off the bottom of this thing. You can already hear it dragging across the bottom. And hopefully do that for a little while. We'll come back and see exactly how much of the rust we have knocked off the bottom. I'm going to find myself a little tank too, or a little catch can, and just to see exactly how much of that we can get out of this thing. All right, we've been shaking it back and forth. I've tapped on it with a hammer a few times, ran a bar down there to kind of help scrape the side walls and loosen up all kinds of junk that's in there on the floor of this thing, on the walls and stuff. I want to try to get as much out. Now, I know this isn't going to be 100% perfect when I'm done, but if we can get a majority of this stuff out of this tank, that would be awesome. So, first thing I'm going to do is see if I can't see how much of this fluid I can get out into our bucket. Kind of see the color of what we're dealing with. Oh, yeah. That is gross. You can hear the stuff shaking around in there. Ooh. All right. See what kind of gunk we can get in our little can here now. All right, so as you saw there, we got it all rinsed out. Actually, rinsed out pretty good. Got all our little bolts out. And the neat thing I like about using nuts or bolts inside that tank like that is, well, if they don't come out when you're shaking it and rattling around, you can always just stick a magnet down there and pull the rest of them out. But now I got everything out of the tank. I got it sit up there. I already reached in with our little air blower, blew it out. I'm letting that thing air dry. And while it's doing that, I'm going to show you guys our little pan here and everything that we got out of that tank. And you can see here all of the rust and the dirt and the it's like a tar that was at the bottom of that tank. So that stuff here is no longer in that tank. Shouldn't be giving us any more issues through that stock pickup. Now, I know I keep saying I am not going to be running this tank for very long. It is just so I can move it throughout the property here, in and out while I'm doing other jobs. So this little pickup does not have a screen on the end, and I really wouldn't worry about it. I'm not too worried about it even now, just by running the little hose there to make sure I get the fuel off the bottom of the tank. But for some of you guys out there that might be doing the same thing, definitely pick up a new sending unit or at least a new sock for the end of it, and you should not have any issues after that. Now, let me get you in here and show you what our tank looks like now. So if you remember what it looked like prior to doing that, get in here and see if you can focus. Whoops. So you can see there is still some stuff stuck to the bottom of the tank. I don't know if they have like a coating or something that comes on here, or that just does not want to come out. But all that stuff is stuck. I have rinsed it. I have blown air through it. All that is stuck to the bottom of our tank and is not coming back up, which is definitely a reason why I say get another new sock for the end of your sending unit, and you should work for you just fine. So, but we got this cleaned out, got all of our old gas out, got all the bolts or their nuts out of the tank, got all that rust out. So now, before I put this thing back in the truck, here is what I want to do. So you can see I took the floor out this morning. I actually had the bolts out for a while. I just took it out and set it off to the side. And this is most of the stuff that was sitting underneath our seat. Now, I put the emblems in here. I have that wire, that's mine. License plates, channel locks, all that stuff's mine. That red glove is mine. But this is everything else that was behind the seat. Old newspaper clipping. I did pick this up, however. And it says the truck last registered was in, so issue date was in 75, right there. And then, so it expired in 76. And here's a little receipt from Iowa as well. So I have been told this truck has not been driven or been on the road for quite some time. And the registration there says 75, 76. So it's neat getting something like this and being able to do what me and Seth have been doing. Get an engine in here. We got a transmission in it. I've moved it around the yard under its own power. Took it up and down the driveway. So I know he's getting excited to actually get this thing out on the road and take it for a little cruise. But it's exciting. Anyways, now I got the seat out. We're going to get in here. I'm going to get all this junk and this trash out of here. Get everything all vacuumed up. And then I got to get my drill. Drill these bolts out. I got one on each side. They both snapped. We're going to drill those out. And just get a tap. See if we can't rethread what's there. Hopefully, if not, we'll drill it out. And maybe I'll put some nut certs or something in it. But I'm going to go ahead and grab a broom and start cleaning this thing up. Okay, so we got the floor scraped, wire wheeled, vacuumed, cleaned, blown out, cleaned again. Bolt holes were drilled, retapped, vacuumed, blown out, wire wheeled, cleaned again. So I'm going to stop because it still has to be wire wheeled and scraped and cleaned. But we should be good enough now where our fuel tank goes. And here's what we got. So you guys can see here, I did get in there, I scraped it, I hit it with a wire wheel, knocked all the big flaky stuff off, got most of the chunks and everything blown out. So now I'm going to use this stuff right here, converts light rust to paintable surface. That's light rust. So, yeah, go ahead and get all of that stuff sprayed. We're going to be really, really generous with it because, let's face it, it's a little more than just a light rust. There's only the only real big cancer spot is over there, but that is all right. We'll get it. We'll make sure it gets the most of our little converter here. Make sure I get it up in those corners really well. I want it to soak down in there. Like I said, be really, really generous. Make sure we got it everywhere. Yes. And once I am done, squirting that whole back section there with this stuff where that gas tank goes, I'm going to be using another stuff I really like using. I've used it in engine compartments, everywhere. Basically, it's the truck bed liner in a rattle can, right? If this comes out of it, it's not like if you squeeze it out of their own little hopper or whatever, and it's real rough and real thick and textured and stuff like that. If you shoot it out of a can, it's almost the same as your cap here. Just a light little satin color there. It's not glossy. It's not rough. It kind of lays down flat unless you're really, really looking at it. You can't really tell. And I like this stuff for engine compartments and areas where you're not going to see or you can't get to. You can load this stuff up because it also acts like a, if you get it in there thick, it kind of helps seal up any of the cracks, and hopefully that'll help some more moisture and dust or whatever from getting in underneath the truck or back up in these cracks where it's already been pretty well rusted. So I'll get finishing up on our Loctite, our rust neutralizer. Make sure all this stuff back here is really, really good and coated. And then we're gonna come back and make sure, I'm gonna do this while I'm talking, just make sure it's got, you know, a generous amount all over. Gonna try to neutralize as much as we can. So, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and finish neutralizing all of our rust back here, and then we'll start squirting on our bed liner. All right, rust converter has been sprayed. It's been sitting and curing back here for a while. I've gone ahead and done the co-pilot side of the truck with our truck bed coating here. And I'm going to show you guys what it looks like as we're spraying it and why I like it so much. So you can see back there how it lays down nice and lays down really good. It's going to harden like a truck bed liner. Will definitely help protect everything. I like it also too for these little corners here, right there on each one of the seams, as you can see. Lays in there nice and good. And when it dries, it'll have a nice little, just a nice little texture. It almost shoots a lot like undercoating, just a little bit harder, and it's supposed to be a little bit more durable. But now that we get in here, make sure we get in that guy that was had full of 100-year-old dirt. So something we'll come back to later, but and just get it down in those cracks. I want to get up inside all of that, down in this guy here too, around each one of these little edges. There we go. And if we can, get down in there. I'll have to take that off. This is actually a piece of MIG wire. There's a little nest down there of MIG wire. Someone tried patching a hole, and I'll take care of that later. But right now, let's get some of this stuff all coated down in there. Nice, good coat. All right. Now that we got all that coated where our gas tank goes, I'm going to go ahead and let it set up for a little bit and dry. Then once it's dry enough, which might be a half hour or something like that. Once it's dry enough, I'll come back in here, double check, make sure I don't have to coat anything else. Make sure everything's got a good layer of our truck bed coating here. And then we'll install our fuel tank, get some fuel in it, get that pump turned on, make sure we get some fuel up to our carburetor there, and get this truck fired up again. So, be right back. All right, fuel tank is in, straps are tight, fuel line is hooked up, and I've got 5 gallons of fuel in it right now. So hopefully the camera will pick this up. When I turn the power on, you're going to hear the pump, you're going to hear the clicky clacky pump, and once it gets quiet, that means it's pulling fuel. So hopefully it'll pick up the fuel. I didn't double check, nothing. I just put the sending unit back in and then put the fuel tank back in. So let's turn the power on and see if you can hear it. Get you down. All right, let's see. 'Cause 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 I hear it. Still got a little bit of noise. No big deal. Sometimes it needs to be persuaded a little bit. So, let's see here. Put you up in this little guy. It's pretty loud right now, so you probably hear it. I'll grab the air hose really quick. Sometimes with these little guys, if you help them along, yep, pump's quieted up. Let's go ahead and kick this thing over. If you're wondering how I'm keeping it running, it's because I've got this little wire right here. I just ran it through a hole in the firewall and it is hooked up to the throttle right here. That way when I'm sitting on the seat and I need to move it, just pull it with my finger. And to switch gears and stuff, this is the old shifter cable out of our 03 parts truck. I ran through an existing hole in the floor, ran it through the bracket I left on that transmission. So now all the way forward is park and I just count the clicks. That's all we do, and then I'm able to move this thing around. So, but we got fuel being pulled from our freshly cleaned tank now. That is awesome. Got the rust, pretty much most of the rust cleaned up behind the tank as well. Got this thing all re-strapped back in. So in here is what you see now that it's finished, it's dry. See, it has that slight texture, and it is not, it's kind of a semi-gloss. Get down on there so you can see why I like it so much, and it is extremely durable. And I love using that stuff inside the vehicle. And this right here, give you a comparison. This black, even though it looks all right, you can take it, and it's kind of a soft, you can pick at it. That is just regular rubberized undercoating, which works really well underneath fender wells and stuff like that to help reflect little rocks and debris, stuff like that. It helps keep from chipping your paint on the outside. But I like this bed liner stuff here for inside the truck, inside engine compartments and stuff like that. Matter of fact, if you're new, that's how the engine compartment of my Mustang is done. So, well, that is it for this little project. I figured I had enough time to knock this out. I have now got to get ready to go back to work. And like I said, videos are gonna be a little thin, but I'll try my best to do what I can when I get home. Got a lot of work coming up, so. But anyways, I have got to end this video right here, get myself cleaned up, get ready to go. Hope this helps some of you guys out. As you saw there, I just used these, we cleaned out the tank. I didn't use any special chemicals. I just used the little bit of fuel that was left inside that tank. Threw a bunch of nuts that we get at the hardware store in there, shook it around, used a little bar and a scraper, cleaned out as much as I could, at least everything that would fall out. Anything else that did not come out should pretty much be stuck in there. And well, as long as you keep it over a quarter of a tank, should be all right. Don't forget to change that screen or that little sock at the end of your pickup there if you're going to keep the original tank or the sending unit and stuff inside your vehicle. But like I said, I hope this helps some of you guys out. Definitely give that bed liner, this rattle can bed liner stuff a try. You won't be disappointed. But anyways, you guys, thanks for hanging out. Thank you for watching. Get out there and work on your projects. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Go check out my carburetor rebuild video as well. I'll put a link in the description. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all your support. And I'll catch you on the next one.